welcome to the Salt Circle Podcast. My name is Hank. With me is Ben.
Heyo.
This week we're going to be talking about The Legend of Korra, the sequel series to The Last Airbender.
Yep. Wanted to, didn't want to wait too long, but figured we should probably have some content in between. Mix it up a little.
We like some variety.
Yeah.
Some variety in what this kind of stuff we're talking about. So, Korra is interesting to me just because I think it's pretty flawed. There's just there were some problems with it. Some mistakes happened.
It's definitely a like double-edged sword, I guess. Two-sided coin, two sides of the same coin. I like it. I think I would feasibly watch through it again if someone I knew was going through it or I was watching it with someone. There's a lot of stuff I like about it. At the same time, I think it's a pile of shit, and if it didn't exist, I wouldn't care. I don't know. This is going to be like an airing of grievances for me, anyway.
That's fair. So, part of the problem with Legend of Korra was on the production side. Nickelodeon kind of fucking them around.
Not airing it on TV.
Yeah, that happens. But the first part is season 1 is basically standalone and complete because they didn't know if they were going to get renewed after it. They had to. It ends with a crappy Deus Ex Machina that undoes Korra loses her airbending right before the season ends, and then it undoes that immediately because they didn't know if they were ever going to make another episode again.
Spoilers, by the way.
Yeah.
Should go without saying, but
Yeah. So that sucks. That's lame. And then it fucks up season 2 because they kind of have to backtrack her character because they have more story they want to tell now. And the whole beginning of season 2, it's insufferable because Korra is sucks during it. They totally fuck up her character by taking her backwards.
Yeah, I think, and that makes sense that the first season standalone.
Yeah,
and that's kind of my issue is that almost in a way, all of the seasons are standalone-ish, kinda. I don't know.
They're much less so. As it goes on, they draw more from seasons 2 and 3, as they progress, and they don't ever draw again from 1, really.
I guess my big problem is
very limited.
We kind of talked about it off podcast briefly about Voltron and how you defeat main villain and then second villain shows up. I'm more okay with that because at least it's the same thing. It's the same enemy, just a different person. It kind of bothers me that we run through 3 different enemies that are fairly different four groups, I should say, that they all had different goals, right? I'm not forgetting overlaps. Amun wanted to make everyone equal. Water tribe guy wanted to become the dark avatar and fuck everything up.
Yeah.
What was the goal of Airbender guy? Zakir.
I think he wanted anarchy. He wanted to overthrow the world governments.
Right. Something. I know he hated White Lotus because they became a tool of the Avatar or something. I don't know. Yeah, then Kavira was yo, remember Fire Nation? It's Earth Nation now.
Yeah, basically she's fascist.
Yeah. I don't know. That just doesn't...
Yeah.
Yeah.
The part of the problem is season 2's ending is off the chain in terms of power level stuff. They kind of blow their load there, and they have to and the next villains aren't as scary because you've fought a demon basically, and now you're fighting people again.
I'm actually upset I don't know. It's so much of Korra's issues, I think, the show, not the character, is that there's a lot that we're introduced to that I feel should have been made relevant in the original series. And obviously, like, you know, at the time, who knew, I suppose, for some of it, but like 2 giant fucking spirit portals at the poles, I feel like that might have come up. I just on a hunch. I don't know. That's my thing.
It's like the other hard part about Korra is Korra goes through more shit than Aang did. Like, she gets in much worse positions, acts much worse, but also has, like, does greater things, kind of, in certain ways.
Yeah.
Like
she's
crazier stuff happens for her.
Yeah, she's certainly affected more.
So it's way more, like, up and down in terms of, like, what's going on at any given moment.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the part that broke me when I just stopped watching, it was in season 2 when she like at the end of an episode she had amnesia. I'm like, all right, fuck this. So she's been terrible the whole this whole season. She's been angry and stupid, bitch. And it's just, and then she, like, doing the dumb amnesia plot. I couldn't take it. Which is kind of a shame, because, like, they follow that up with, like, the best episodes that Korra ever did, which are the prequel beginnings episodes in season 2.
Oh,
about the first the first Avatar.
Yeah, those are golden. Those are great.
I like those beginnings 1 and 2, which are like episodes 7 and 8 of season 2, episodes 19, 20 overall, are like 2 of the best things that they ever did.
Yeah.
Like, any fan of Avatar who didn't like Korra should just watch those. Like, those are just great. Anyone should just watch those, whether you've even seen anything of the series. I stand by those 2 as like a single short film.
Yeah, they're
so
fantastic.
good.
I think, I don't know, Korra, and it's one of those things that it's bad when you're talking about it, I think, but it for me it's kind of nice when watching it, I suppose. There's a lot more, like, stupid jokes and one-liners and things. And when I'm watching it, like, when me and my brother were watching it, there was a lot of moments of, like, fuck. You know, just whatever. But then I'm watching it by myself, and I'm like, you know what? Milo needs to fuck off and not exist in this show. Like, he can stop. Because I just finished season 4 today, like, did the last episode today. Because I didn't forget or anything. It was just calculated. And he's annoying as fuck in the 4th season. And I don't know if it's like that in the other seasons and I kind of missed it, or if it's just because he's featured more. But, like, we need to stop with the fart jokes and him talking at all.
He's bad.
Yeah.
He gets more, like, aggressive in the way he acts as the season goes on, like, as he's like maturing into a shitty kid from just a dumb idiot baby, basically. He's no good. But there are a lot of characters in Korra, so I don't completely, and it does the thing of trying to be darker and more adult in some ways, and then balancing that out with being more childish and stupid in other ways. Yeah.
There are some characters that I actually love. Like, I think I really would have enjoyed a Last Airbender style thing, you know, where it's the same people for a majority of the series focused on, like, Varric and Julie.
They're the best.
Julie. Yeah, like, that's fucking fantastic.
They're actually my favorite.
Yeah.
That's
like, Varric is, like, amazing.
Romance is like the heart of that last season, as far as I'm concerned.
Oh, no, 100%. And even, like, the first time, I'm like, yeah, this guy is basically the best character in the show. Like, hands down.
No, totally. That was the other weird part about season 2 to me, is that's where he gets introduced. It was like, man, this show's getting worse, but this one new character is really good.
Yes. And
I really like Ling Beifong. I just wish they had gotten to do better stuff with her as the series went along. Yeah.
I do think I think the only so the point that made me stop watching Korra initially was also was it? No, I think it's season 3. Like the beginning of book 3 when Zuko and Dragon get their ass kicked. And I'm like, "No, fuck that. I'm not in it for this. What's happening here? That's a goddamn dragon." And I couldn't take it. I was so pissed. I literally just shut it off, turned off the computer, walked away.
Yeah.
I do think that they did Toph really well.
They
Like-
did Toph really well.
like,
When
that
Toph
is-
comes back, I was very happy.
Yeah, that was actually Toph as an old person. Like, it worked out. It was great.
Yeah, Zuko never quite felt like Zuko.
Well,
Was part of the reason I didn't care.
It kind of pissed me off that they reused his voice actor
Yeah.
because he has such a distinct voice that you're like, okay, it's Zuko talking. Like,
Yeah,
you
it's
need- he
they're
didn't
kind
even-
of like when you know him and you're making like obviously they'd want to use him, but
Yeah.
it's like
But he
just
did the same exact
unfortunate
voice.
that he didn't
Like-
have another voice to do.
Yeah,
Because, I mean, yeah,
just like drop it down an octave or something. Like whatever, make it like all right.
he's just an older dude, but he sounds exactly the same as Zuko. It's
Yep.
a different person. That's not great. Like the other problem, I do think the season 1 villain, Amon, is the best, just because his voice is the best. Because Stephen Bloom has voiced him, and he's
Nice.
great.
Okay, that makes sense.
And he has like he's just more intimidating because he's got a mystery about him.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like he's definitely the most, like, I guess the most scariest villain. Cause you didn't really know, I suppose.
Yeah,
There was a lot more creepy shit going on.
yeah,
And then with I don't know, the whole book 4, the whole time I'm just like, okay, we're essentially reusing the entire plot from the original series. Like all these nice tones of, nature good, metal things bad. Also, I didn't like mech suits. Come on. I didn't sign up for Gundam. Get the fuck out of here. Laser cannons.
I mean, look, there's a thing in Avatar of technology progression, but it was better when it was them discovering like zeppelins
Yeah.
in the original series. Than,
Okay, here's the thing though.
making mechs.
Someone
I will
pointed
say.
out, and I understand 200% why they chose to omit some things. But historically speaking, they have radio, they have cars, they got fucking lasers on mechs. Where are the guns? You invented everything but guns conveniently.
Yeah,
I'm
mean
just
guns.
saying. Yeah, what about the non-benders? What if that was a mon? What was his name? Was it
that's
just a
I think
mon?
the other thing that's I think more interesting about the Amon thing is non-benders as villains was more compelling than just doing another nation,
Yeah.
because it's you did that.
I
And we saw Evil Earth Kingdom too. It's not like we didn't see Evil Earth Kingdom in the original series.
Yeah. And I mean, and we already saw it in Korra. Like they doubled down
Yeah.
on Evil Earth Kingdom.
Like my other, it also bugs me how prevalent metal bending becomes. Like
Yeah. Well, that
like one person figures it out, then everyone knows. But that's
just kind
it's
of
not that big a deal. But
I've talked about that. Maybe that was on Spaghetti Cast, or just I talk about it so much with different people. Just the concept of in Last Airbender, our protagonists were all in a way the best at what they did.
yeah,
Like, Aang's the only airbender. Toph is quite literally the greatest earthbender alive. Katara is okay, she's a waterbender, I guess, like, but she's a good
she
one.
becomes a bloodbender.
And that. And then Zuko, like, is able to do the lightning stuff and witnesses the dragon and gets his firebending from that and everything. So, like, we have these powerhouses, and then you go into Korra, it's like, oh, lightning, metal bending, like, okay, check it out. Any asshole.
Yeah, another one of my problems is Mako's super boring.
Mako's real boring.
He's boring.
And
He's a boring character.
Bolin is a worse Sokka.
Bolin is fine. He's like okay. Mako's real boring though, and they like pin more on Mako. Bolin at least gets to be comic relief, although
Mako's
he's
kind of a
not
slut.
Great.
I'm just saying.
He's a fuckboy, is what he is.
He's a fuckboy.
Yeah. Okay. My big problem with season 4 is the Korra Asami thing because it's not on screen.
Korean salami.
Like, if you're gonna do that plot, great. Put it in the show. Don't like not have it in the show, and it's like a big hole that they have to like work around it and not actually have them interacting that much. There's a little bit, but it's like just enough for like angry parents to write it off and not notice.
Yeah.
They're like clearly not confident enough in putting it in the show. Compared to like what it is in the comics, where it's like it's not ambiguous at all in the follow-up comics that are like the Avatar comics that take place after the series.
Yeah. There was like
and that just annoys me because that's the thing with homosexual relationships in media is generally it's just hidden in subtext because people are unwilling to put it in there, and if you're gonna do it, you needs to be there, and it also makes the show hold up less over time. Like doing that as a progressive thing is totally positive and good, but as a rewatchable show, that it not being there becomes less and less okay as time goes on and more shows get to do stuff.
Yeah. Honestly,
it's just annoying. It annoys me that it wasn't in there more.
Yeah. No, for certain. Like I got to the end of the final episode. I'm like, okay. I knew exactly what happened. I didn't know the tiny details of it. And it's just like they're like, 2 feet between them holding hands, and I'm like, that's it. This is how people knew. Fuck. Yep. I think I might be like, I think I need to ask some questions about my own sexuality. I guess
they might have clarified it on Twitter too. I don't remember.
Someone shared, or someone made or someone had a post about them being lesbian, and one of the creators or writers or somebody like shared it or retweeted or something, which apparently was enough to confirm it. And then
and then the comics came out, which were more able to just do it.
I mean, it's
just annoying.
The fan art had called it for years.
Fan art calls lots of things. That's like you call a shot in every hole, and then one of them goes in, and you're like, yes, I did it. It's like sports predictions. Come on. Sports Illustrated called Houston winning the World Series this year. They did it. They called a lot of other shit that was wrong, but they called that.
I mean, when you're right, though.
When you're right, you're right.
Don't question.
But yeah, I really think that last season, what it was missing was, like, if that plot had been in there, that would have been a much stronger season. That season feels like it has a hole in it to me.
It needed to,
like, this should be better. There's like something missing here.
Well,
like,
it needed to be there, and honestly, they should have been putting in more stuff after like Mako was done with both of them. Like, after everybody was single again, that's when they needed to kind of start that rolling. And there were a couple scenes where I thought it was actually going to go more in that direction. Like, I forget what episode or even season. I think after everybody's single, like, Asami and Korra are in a car and, like, laughing and stuff. And me and Peter were watching it, I think, at the time. And we were both like, oh yeah, they're going to bang. Like, this is where it starts. And then there's just nothing.
Yeah, there's nothing. So like my big thing is if that was how they had to do it, they should have done something else, kind of.
Yeah.
Like, or at least for the run of the show, like added another romance that like fills that hole, and then have them those two get together at the end would also be okay. I'd be good with. I mean, it's just like the show is weaker because there's a romance hole.
Like, who's
I don't know,
left?
a different character.
Kavira. Sort of a
exactly.
Sort of a hate fuck kind of thing. They hate each
Yes.
other, but they love each other.
She
Korra
gets
likes
together
to
with
fight.
a weird spirit creature.
Oh no, probably one with a lot of tentacles.
Not that, please.
Speaking of spirit creatures, what did you think of Iroh?
I mean, I didn't need him.
Yeah,
Honestly.
no, they should have.
That was not necessary. Like,
Iroh
We
in
don't need
Korra
that.
is Iroh is to Korra what Korra is to the Airbender series. It was unnecessary, and you should have left it alone. We didn't need more.
And he doesn't get to do like there are reasons Iroh's great, and like what he does in Korra isn't that. Like just being sage advice is not why Iroh's great. Iroh's great because he's a fucking badass, and was a piece of shit in his past life who got better.
Yeah.
Like he's learned from experience.
One character I definitely could have done. Well, again, it's one of those things like if they did one giant arc as the point of their series instead of smaller ones. Prince Wu. That's good shit. Like his character development was great. It just felt rushed as hell because 13 episodes. But by the end of it, I was thinking, I could enjoy this. Like I would enjoy watching him transition from a fucking uppity fashionista to someone who is competent and actually steps down and ends the monarchy.
Yeah.
Like it was a good transition. It just rushed. Like everything else.
Yeah. Totally. He had a good arc. It was, just happened to be in Korra.
Yep.
So my other thing is, okay, I want to talk about season 3 a bit more, I guess.
All right.
Because those dudes are badass, and there are episodes where they like swoop in and just destroy stuff that's really great. But like that season doesn't. I don't know how you end that season better, but it didn't feel great. I don't know. I can't put my finger on totally why.
It's
Part of it is-
it's because they had Superman. It's because they had a flying person.
You might be right.
That's kind of in with the spirit portals. I feel like the ability to fly without doing anything, it just feels like it's apparently this old thing, and there's a saying and there's an inscription and all this stuff. Like I feel like that should have come up, or even if it was just an aside comment in the original show, like, oh, who's this statue of? Oh, it's this guy who supposedly was able to fly like 10,000 years ago. And then they do it in Korra. It's like, oh, fuck. That's awesome. They linked it back. We had this thing. But it just feels like, okay. How do we...
So I think, like, the ways in which that guy is a great airbender, like, when you have a little bit more mystery around him, and he hasn't revealed himself to be such a shitheel yet, it's more okay. But he's so terrible by the end that it's like, how did you honestly get to be this spiritual? You're so terrible.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, so this guy somehow is able to fly. It doesn't seem like he's emptying his mind.
Better airbender than Aang, but like,
well, not even better. They never reference it. How is Aang supposed to do something that apparently didn't exist?
You're right. I mean, that's the whole thing of like, if Aang knew how to fly, everyone would know how to fly, right?
Probably.
Every airbender would know how to fly by the rules of the universe, the show.
I think the
also
only...
the
go on.
Just the ending with the poison thing was just like, Korra goes through so much shit.
Yeah.
It's just like rude. It feels rude at a certain point. She loses her bending at one part, then immediately gets it back, and like gets amnesia, like becomes
she's
like
on
an
that roller
avatar
coaster.
spirit thing, gets poisoned, like the avatar state is ruined like loses connection with all past lives. It's like wheelchair bound for years. It's just like fucking come on.
I think it would.
And she gets blander. The bigger thing is she gets blander as all that happens to her.
Oh,
she's
in
like
season
more.
4?
She's super
she's
bland
just
in
like-
season 4.
Yeah.
Her anger
can
was
do
like
it. I
her
can't
character, and when like they make her more calm, they don't replace it with anything. She's just more boring.
See, I think I would have preferred seeing her be like more uncaring, at least in the sense of like almost like she turns her back on the Avatar stuff. Like, yeah, apparently you guys don't need me. Like, you're doing fine, blah, blah, blah. Like, you made this mess. I would have preferred to see that and have her like come back to it. Like, realize that no, like they do need her and whatever.
Yeah.
Something.
Because part of what's really cool about her is like how like strong she is and like aggressive
Yeah.
and physical. Like that stuff's great. And when they like undermine that by then making her super weak, it annoys me. Mm-hmm. I get annoyed. Again, they make her more bland.
Yep.
She had more personality in season 1 than she does in season 4. That's not a good arc. It's not.
No, it's character development. In a way.
You should. I mean, it is character. She developed into being a more boring person.
Also, I think my biggest problem with the show, 100%, the thing that absolutely ruins it for me. What the fuck is with the airbending outfits? Who thought that was okay? Why do I gotta see people walking around? Why is Tenzin wearing one of those wetsuits? It needs to be stopped. It's terrible. And they never take them off.
Oh, they're stylish and cool.
No, they're not at all. Like, having them as a thing that they wear, like, well, on the job or whatever, okay, I guess. But they're just wearing them 24/7. Like, did Tenzin burn the rest of your clothes? Like, you're forced into this now?
Yeah. I mean,
Awful.
they have no other clothes.
Apparently. It's just awful.
Yeah.
And actually, like, I was getting upset the more people were wearing them. like all 3 of the kids were wearing them the entire time as soon as they started. And then at one point, like, yeah, Tenzin and, like, Boomy are in them, just, like, chunking out. Like,
I wonder if they were just easier to animate.
probably. Budget needed. You know what? The budget did need, like, they could have, maybe someone should have thrown them, like, a couple 20s or something to make some of that CGI in the last season less terrible. That giant mech was brutal.
Yeah.
There were some shots that were just brutal.
Yeah, I mean, the CGI in the series was never very good, honestly. It was, like, passable
Yeah.
for the time with Avatar, but they start leaning more heavily into it with action. It's not. That's a poor
Yeah,
choice.
It was kind
It's
of
always a poor choice when 2D animated shows lean too heavily into CG objects. It looks bad. For a show that like partially stands on looking good almost all the time.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Besides for that.
and the art and the animation throughout all of it were solid.
Yeah.
Like, it still had the charm and the style. Like, anyone, I think, without being told what it is, even just looking at non-bending things, people who'd seen the original would be like, yeah, it's Avatar. Or it's at least by the same people in the same style.
Yeah, for sure. So there's also, we haven't talked about the part where her Nickelodeon was like, nah, we're just not going to air this on TV anymore.
Yeah.
We're done.
Was that just after the first season? Or was that after the second?
I think it was like in the middle of a season.
That sounds right.
So I
That's the
don't-
only way to do it. When else would you
I think.
make that
Well, no,
switch?
so they started airing them online and on TV, but like they would go up online first, I think, but like sort of at the same time, and then eventually they were just like, yeah, we're not gonna air it on TV anymore. We're just gonna air it online.
Yeah.
And part of the reason they had to air it online like they needed to do that earlier, honestly, with those shows, because both Avatar and Korra notorious for episodes leaking. Like, Nickelodeon would hold on to these episodes after they were done for so long. They would always leak out on the internet before they aired. Always. And, like, sometimes, like, way before.
Yeah, I guess I didn't know that. I did not keep up with Korra at all.
Well, it happened, like, I mean, I know because it was happening with season 3 of Avatar, which I was super into. So then it was like part of the rhythm of a new one of their shows for me.
Okay. I was too young to, like, I think I came in late enough. Because I watched most of it, like, after it aired, I think.
Gotcha.
So by the time I caught up, I think the first episode I actually saw live on TV was the last episode. Like, managed to catch up in time for the finale.
Huh.
Which was nice. I
didn't watch any of I was also at the time in college and didn't have TV, so watching stuff on the internet was the only way for me.
Gotcha. And then with Korra, I don't know. It was announced and I'm like, wow, that was not... Who asked for this? Also, no. And then I watched it and I was like, yep, I was right. A bit cynical, maybe a bit douchey. Yeah, sure, but I stand by it.
I mean, I was asking for it because I wanted... That team was clearly talented enough to make something else. Like that...
Oh, I wanted
those
more
people
Avatar.
Work.
I wanted more Avatar. I just didn't want this.
Again, with the sort of with the skewing older, I feel like they might have aged themselves out of Nickelodeon's bracket. Which and again, if they had done that more consciously without Nickelodeon, I feel like maybe fucking the kids wouldn't be so bad.
Give us a, if you're gonna do that, like, give us a really gritty Avatar.
Yeah.
Make it an anime.
I don't. What? I don't even know what that means.
It means you add some blood, you add some tits, you throw in more explosions. Give Korra, like, pink hair, I guess. Let people know she's the main.
Uh-huh.
And I don't know, I kind of like the setting. Like I guess the
city?
Yeah, like the fact that they have city and, like, movies, cars, radio, all that shit. Yeah. The problem was that it felt like nowhere else was caught up, even remotely.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I feel like almost everywhere else they visited, it's like, yeah, we're still building shit with ice.
Yeah. I mean, that's just reality. It's just how cities and other places work.
Yeah, but there was only, like, one city. Like, there's one city.
It's a much smaller world.
I guess.
There are nations, and they're like 50 people.
I think, did we ever go to the Fire Nation in Korra? I don't think we did. I think we maybe got in, like, territory, but it wasn't.
Yeah,
like,
we get, like,
actual
temples. Yeah.
Because I feel like they should have it. They were building drills and shit before it was cool.
Nah, it was all they were prevented from building any machines.
Yeah. Okay, so what you're telling me,
not allowed to have a standing army.
What you're telling me is that the fucking 100-Year War was basically the Great War, and then the Treaty of Republic City fucked them over, and someday, like, someone's gonna rise up and we're gonna have Fire War 2.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Just so we're clear. You're not allowed to use metal.
So the part that you definitely lose with Korra, because they're in one place, that I think is essential to part of what makes Avatar really good, is characters traveling around being hungry. Is, like, super key. That's, like, the thing that I learned from watching original Digimon, and the thing that Avatar did better was characters traveling around being hungry is the best.
Oh yeah,
it's very important.
It's a good setup for many things.
It's an easy plot thing. It's just a thing for people to talk about.
It sets up great jokes.
It sets up great jokes. It's just the best.
Yeah.
And I don't even eat food.
And it feels... and I don't even eat. It also makes the... and as we've said, they're not terrible about this. I mean, they weren't even bad with it, but the kind of enemy of the week sort of thing, or problem of the week, I guess. It makes it more palatable because you're traveling. You're going to run into shit. Versus like, well, this city just keeps getting fucked up. Why is anyone living here? It's been years of torment.
Yeah, I mean, they don't... Enemy of the Week doesn't really become a thing, and especially in the later core, it's so serialized. There's so much plot happening. I mean, in a way that feels rushed because they're cramming in things into they're like structuring everything in 13 episode chunks instead of 26. Is another. It just doesn't have room to breathe in the same way, and they have more characters to deal with. And then there are characters that are boring.
That is ones that get boring.
And there are ones that get boring.
But then there's Varric.
Who's the best.
Like, I don't know, just give me the Korra supercut with all the Varric moments. Just throw me that.
You're not wrong. Varric and Judy. That should have been the show.
Honestly, it would have been pretty great.
It might have been hard to market.
No, dude, it's like Harry Potter's doing it. Fantastic things in the guy who made them. That is Varric.
Okay, that Varric show would be way better than Fantastic Beasts, because Fantastic Beasts is mediocre and then terrible.
I mean, yeah.
Because that first movie ends with, and surprise, the Colin Farrell was Johnny Depp the whole time. Ha!
Yeah.
We got you.
I don't know why anyone expected anything different than disappointment.
I mean, it wasn't disappointing. It was just, a mediocre movie became garbage. It's fine.
Fair enough.
It's fine. It's not a big deal.
I mean, we can talk about now.
What?
That one time they did an Airbender movie. We can revisit that.
Yeah. That movie is garbage. The movies are basically terrible.
Do you think there's any chance of not necessarily Midnight Shyamalan, but someone else like trying to do maybe a Korra movie?
No.
Okay.
No. It's done.
I just need to be like told that there's no chance once in a while.
There's no chance. Nickelodeon burned that brand. They stopped airing the show on TV, Ben. They stopped airing it on TV. They were like, we have this show. People on the internet like it. Let's just rerun more SpongeBob. That'll do better ratings. We don't care. It's fine.
Ugh. Okay, I guess, do you think there will ever be more of the, like, another show or something?
I don't.
Or is it, like, officially, like, we can rest now and kind of do to Korra what we did with the Matrix sequels and the Highlander sequels and just kind of sweep them under the rug?
I mean, they'll keep making comics sometimes, I think. They could do more comics.
Are they?
'Cause those are easy, and comics are like a space where companies will just do shit with properties. They're not going to do anything else with them.
Are they
They're
just
way
making
more
the
willing to do
Korra
stuff.
ones? Or is there any?
I think the Avatar ones ended. I think the
Okay.
Avatar ones are over. But just like super recently, I think they ended.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know about the Korra ones. I haven't actually read the Korra comics, so because I don't care enough about Korra.
I still
and
need
I'm
to
not
read
caught up on the Avatar ones. The
still
Avatar
need to
ones are
read
really
that.
good.
Yeah,
The ones
I
I've
need
read,
to.
it's really good. It was
need
like,
to read 'em.
oh, hey, this is what I was missing from Korra. Right, these characters are the best.
Right. The things that made me like everything.
Yeah. Like, honestly, I just feel like the successor is Voltron. like that has enough of the writers and the animation style. Like that's the thing that exists that's
Mm-hmm.
gonna carry that forward. I just don't think Nickelodeon gave enough of a shit, and they didn't know it didn't. They didn't know what to do with it. Despite it, they didn't know how to like capitalize on the way it was popular.
I still needed to. I need to finish Voltron. I just the villain change just took me by surprise. Like
I will say the end of the last season of Ultron, I wasn't a big fan of. It just dicked around.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's about, I guess it's just it's almost in the same. Okay. So I went to New York once and it was for I'm going to loop this around, I swear.
Okay.
I've
been to New York many times as it happens.
Yeah. It was for like the music department at school. Like small enough, tiny ass town, but each year they raise money for the seniors, and if you like raise enough because you want to actually go to New York, like you go to New York, you go to the symphony, you go to Broadway, whatever, because music. And we went to Wicked, and I had no expectations, fucking loved it, was great. Crump spent the entire time bitching solely because he felt that the mere existence of Wicked, which apparently he was not aware of prior, like somehow retroactively ruined Wizard of Oz for him, which was like his favorite movie as a kid. And
So you're saying he has no principles.
yeah, like you can't just forget it happened even. It's just like, no, it's ruined now. Like every time I try to watch Wizard of Oz, I'm going to think of this movie, I guess. Yeah, Korra is nowhere near that. Like, I don't know. It's not like when I'm watching Avatar again, I'm going to be like, oh, what's the point? I just fuck it up later. There's no reason. There's no reason. Like, yelling at the screen like, hey, Zuko, your grandson sounds exactly like you. It's terrifying. Just pointing out all the shit that goes wrong with everyone.
I mean, he's just much more bland than you are. It's fine.
He's just, yeah.
He's super bland.
It could have been worse. They could have given him a scar in the same spot for some stupid reason.
That would have been better, because it would have been dumber.
Yeah, I suppose.
Like,
What you like? I was in a naval accident.
also, like,
Big ol'
adult
scar.
Aang, super boring. Like, the
Yeah.
brief moments you get of him. He just sucks.
Yeah, because we see like I don't know.
At least Tenzin is better. Like, Tenzin is better than adult Aang.
That's because like the only time we see adult Aang is when he's doing important adult shit. Like he actually has to give a damn. Like we don't really ever get to see him just being like, "Yo, check out this airbending trick," and like flinging marbles around.
Yeah.
Like
You're not
there was-
wrong.
I thought there was gonna be more flashbacks and stuff. There wasn't after like what season 2.
Yeah. I mean, I could see why they'd stop doing the flashbacks, because the flashbacks always sucked. It's like, here, have these characters. They're really boring. Whereas, like, what you want is,
Well, they could have kept
you
doing
want
flashbacks.
old Toph. You want old Toph.
I mean, old
That's what you
Toph is
want.
definitely like, yeah. I was really hoping there's one part in season 4 when they are trying to rescue, I think it's Sue and like the two brothers,
Mm-hmm.
Sue and Batar and the two brothers, and they're like all about to get captured. Then Toph just like fucking earthbend ripples everyone down, and they get
Mm-hmm.
away. I really wanted her to do something even more badass and like do the "I'm the greatest earthbender ever" line. Like I wanted it so badly, and they fucking cock-blocked me on it.
Yeah, flashback Toph is also super boring.
Yeah.
Only actually old Toph that's good. Old Katara is good in, like, the brief
Small
bit we get.
doses.
Yeah. That we didn't get Old Man Sokka is a crime, though. It's
Oh,
actually just a crime.
100%. That is the worst.
You guys fucked up. Why did you not do Old Man Sokka? It could have been so good.
I think
you just
Old
draw
Man-
Sokka with the beard.
Yeah. Yeah, you just like...
You just put that beard on him again, and that's Sokka.
I would have preferred old Sokka to old Zuko. Because old Zuko did like nothing.
Yeah. Old Zuko sucked. They fucked it up. But old Sokka. Or old Azula.
Old Azula would have been interesting.
Yeah.
At the very least. Or older Boomy. Just still going. It's like 200 years old or some shit. Guy is still hanging on.
God, Boomy is so good. He was like my favorite character the first time around, like early in the show. He's my favorite. Until like Iroh revealed himself to be the best.
I also I forget what season it kind of starts in. They just kind of like ditch Naga after a while. Like
yeah,
Korra in season 4, like Korra gets back. Like I think in maybe just season 1, they pushed it real hard. Like she was always on this dog, and then by season 4, like she hugs Naga, and that's the only shot we get of her. Like the entire season.
We're back to not like just here's some random Sky Bison, like just different Sky Bison. Because the problem is Sky Bison is so much more useful. It's just like you just need it to get around.
I was so okay. So I have like weird points of, I guess, things that kind of gross me out or turn me off. Mm-hmm. And for example, Peter recommends me some show. It's like I forget if it was actually Canadian made, but either way, it was from like fucking early 2000s or 90s or some shit called What's with Andy.
What's with Andy?
What's with Andy? Like one of those, in the same, similar to the Weekenders or something. I don't know. And the episode he freaking introduces me on is like, what the hell is it called? It's like Ooey Gooey or some shit. And the whole thing is like people seeing how many marshmallows they can fit in their mouth and chewing. So you have all these fucking shots of kids like chewing marshmallows and just like goop fucking everywhere. And I don't know. It gets to me. And then for JoJo, the clip he decides to lead with is dude like picking his nose and flicking a booger. And I'm just, you gotta fucking stop. There's so many better things in JoJo that you could have led with. Like literally anything else. And
no, man, it's all about that booger joke.
So we get to this Sky Bison that has fucking snot running down its nose. I'm just like, can we not please? Like, can we stop? I can't do it. It's like licking its face. And I'm just, this is why like I'm generally not a dog person. Like I can't do it. I can't deal with this.
Yeah, it's like part of the problem when they had a show that was like certain things were tuned properly. Like Appo's perfectly tuned Sky Bison, so they have to figure out other things to do with Sky Bison,
like make them disgusting.
Yeah, exactly.
Like make them gross. Oh, this is my Sky Bison. He's gross, and I tried to change him when he was little, but you can't. I checked. It's not in the rules.
Yeah, it's a thing. It's a thing. We didn't talk a lot about the spirit world stuff, which was like super interesting, but also it didn't really do anything with it. Like the crazy thing to me is like the spirit world is like in the world, but then it's just not important. Like they never deal with it again, kind of. Mm-hmm. Like that season 4 is so much about like the Earthbender nation and not about the spirit world at all, really.
Yeah. It's weird. Okay, here we go. For some reason, I was looking at the episode list we have up. Mm-hmm. For some reason, I thought Zelda Williams voiced Opal, but she voices Kuvera. Opal is voiced by Alison Stoner, who I don't think has done literally anything else. But she was, I don't know, she was in Cheaper by the Dozen.
Okay.
Like, that's, I don't know, it's just one of those things where, like, oh, wait. Okay, she made an appearance in Voltron, apparently. Nice. Anyway.
Nice.
I did remember seeing, I think I just got, like, confused about which, I got them, like, swapped in my head. But yeah, I did see at some point, that's kind of, it's what made me get a bit more interested. I'm like, oh, like Zelda Williams is doing a thing. That's kind of cool. And then, it looks like an interesting character, which, you know, turned out to be a lie, but at the time. I do, like, with Kavera, it seemed really, her little backstory that they give for, like, why are you doing all this seemed terrible. Like, you won't rule the Earth Kingdom? Well, fuck you.
Fuck you.
I'll be a dictator. There was no reason, like, it wasn't even like that she was scared. She was just saying she didn't want to lead people. And that, like, all this shit. Just did not seem, ugh. It was bit of an overreaction, really.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, it wasn't interesting. It's like the problem. It was bad.
Yeah.
It was boring. Yeah, like they never, I don't know, they never found like the right balance of stuff to do with Tenzin's kids.
Yeah.
Like they build up Jinora, but then they don't really follow through on it. Because we're still then like following Korra in season 4. I don't know.
Jinora is one of those characters where I could probably stand if they did another show in that universe. I don't know what the reason would be, but if done well, I think it would be interesting to like have something focused on her. Like she got quite a bit of development.
Yeah.
And just have like, you know, she can travel around and be hungry for a while.
Yeah.
Her siblings can't, like me. No, they're not allowed.
Milo,
they're not even making.
Go away.
I don't even want them to make appearances. She's not going back home.
I'm ready for Milo to grow up and get boring. Like that's the character I'm ready to grow up and get boring.
Yeah.
Ugh. Or have a tragic heart disease. Whatever.
Oh no. Oh. Holy shit. I'd say he was too young, but he wasn't young enough. Could have gone sooner. Also, for the longest time, don't know why, I think I just didn't care enough in the when the show started that I saw bits of trailers or heard things about characters and just didn't ever pay attention enough to put them all to the right place. So for the first 2 years that Korra was out, I thought Korra was Aang's granddaughter. just didn't know.
Wrong.
Yeah, no, and I mentioned it. I said it in passing when I was talking to Korra about someone, and they're like, "Wait, what?" Yeah, isn't she Aang's granddaughter? They're like, "What? No, what the fuck? How did you come to that conclusion?" I'm like, "I don't know. I just assumed." Is she not?
Nope.
Yeah,
that's part of the point.
Yeah,
Avatar's just someone different from a different.
Maybe it was when I started getting to the point where Aang's 3 kids are around, and I'm wondering why she's not calling any of them mom or dad, or why she didn't call Katara grandma. I was like, she doesn't seem that angsty. Calling your parents by your first name is, I get it, but
pretty sure her dad is in first season.
Look,
somewhere.
man, I said I wasn't paying attention enough. And then all the anger came and just retroactively wiped my knowledge. Just still I don't. Okay, like I'm just rolling with it at this point.
That's
Could have
very
been
funny.
worse.
It's very funny.
I guess that's good. Like it would have been worse if she was related to Milo.
No one should be related to Milo.
No.
It's a crime.
He could have been a villain later. Like he could have been the one that someone gave up for adoption and then got upset about it and tried to become a dictator.
I mean, he would have gone the Kuvira path, honestly. Just
Yeah.
like, you should become a dictator because that's what you should do. Sure, we never get evil airbenders. Oh, we do get the evil airbender. What am I talking about? We totally get that.
Wow.
100%.
I don't think you've actually
I'm an
seen the show.
idiot. I'm just an idiot.
We get the most
get evil
spiritual. We
everything.
get the strongest, most spiritual airbender.
We get evil everything. So it's got that over Harry Potter, is that we've got good everything and we've got evil everything.
Yeah, I
And
suppose
one
there
house
was
doesn't
no,
just get shit on.
Yeah. I mean, why even have 4 houses if you're not gonna talk about 2 of them almost at all? Like, Ravenclaw's there and they're supposedly smart. What's Hufflepuff's thing? They're like resourceful, which is some sort of code for they can make a bong out of anything. And
Thought
they
it
live
was-
next to the kitchen.
So it was like they were nice.
Yeah, they're like,
You know,
Nice.
they're chill. They're like the people you would actually probably want to hang out with.
everyone in Gryffindor is like a,
Everyone in Gryffindor's a tryhard.
yeah. I mean, everyone in
Slytherin's all
Gryffindor-
cheat. All hackers.
Yeah, everyone in Slytherin and Gryffindor is an asshole. They're just assholes in different ways. That's the thing. You're gonna...
I took care of it.
Okay.
It's fine.
Okay. I'm like, did he actually just like throw me on mute without warning and like pick up the phone?
I mean,
was
I
getting
did
ready.
mute, but that was
Okay.
just until I stopped it.
I was getting ready. I'm like, okay, you've been preparing for this. We can throw down.
Oh God.
Also, I will say Korra had the better video game. Which isn't
platinum one?
saying which isn't saying a lot. But
I never played any of the Avatar games
they were
because
shit.
I'm not an idiot.
Yeah. I mean, I was real little. I was real little and the gamer score was easy to obtain.
okay.
You could get all the achievements in the training level.
Ugh, achievements.
Look.
Garbage.
Look.
Garbage.
You know what they say about people with a lot of gamer score? Giant
They're
dicks.
They're game journalists.
Huge. They're game. No, they can't.
So they're
get
bad
past
at video
They can't
games?
get past the
They're
training.
bad
level.
at video games. That's what they say about them. Okay, gotcha. They're hackers.
Hey, it's not that guy's fault that Cuphead is the fucking Dark Souls of platformers.
I still can't believe that guy could not make a jump. He did not know how to play a platformer. He should not have been covering that game at all. They shouldn't have put that video out. It's actually on everyone who decided to put that video out, not on him, in my opinion. Like, I mean, he couldn't do that.
I mean,
jump,
he could have
but-
stopped and asked literally anyone else.
Yeah, that's
Like,
true.
I'm pretty sure I could have. Like, my mom might have been able to figure that one out, and that's saying something.
My mom would not have been able to figure that out, but that's fine. That's fine. Yeah, that Avatar movie was real terrible.
Oh yeah, like grade A trash.
Us Mombi was okay as Zhao. He was like
forget-
hamming it
forget
up.
even.
He's hamming it up. There's the penis hair. Penis hair existed. And there was that one guy who gets hit by a rock and goes like, "Ow, that hurt."
I don't recall
It's
any
like
of
my,
that.
those are my highlights.
I'm not even sure. Like, I'm not sure if their tattoo choice for Aang was better or worse.
I don't even remember.
Like, I'm
what-
trying to like they did a bunch of like more tribal stuff. Like they made it look more intricate.
Oh, right.
And on one hand, we don't see that in the show. Like, obviously, it's just a straight arrow. On the other hand, would a solid blue arrow look better on a real person than more intricate artsy stuff. I
I
don't know. And on that kid, it's hard to tell. Because he was.
And that movie looked like such garbage. It's also hard to tell.
Yeah.
Like it's also one of the worst looking big effects movies I've ever seen. God,
Again,
and their
I just-
earthbending, like again the earthbending scene where like a bunch of guys are doing shit and then one rock slowly starts to float by. It's the worst. Also, the way they fuck up every line of dialogue by rewriting it to make it worse somehow. Like they fuck up the intro. I don't.
Yeah.
Like at every level, they fuck up.
And then like.
And they cast all those white kids who are terrible actors. You're like, why did you do this?
I was gonna say,
even?
yeah, like didn't they? He wanted to make it like. I don't know. He wanted to divide the nations by race, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, he wanted the twist to be that this was like Earth in the future. I think because he needed a twist.
Was that a twist?
I feel like
Was
that
there an
might have
implication?
been his headcanon. I'm not.
His headcanon. Oh boy. I mean, he did say outright like that's why he didn't have the firebenders able to just create fire because it seemed unfair. Really? Really? The airbenders can literally anywhere in that universe because they can't go to space yet. Literally anywhere.
Also,
they can just like
You mean the nation that took over the world would have some kind of advantage?
yeah.
Some kind of military advantage that would allow them to do this? Weird.
And like
Yeah. Also, like they're like Earth is really hard to find.
well, I mean,
Or
that gets-
water
that
if
gets
you're
even-
on water.
That gets even worse if you're in Korra. Fuck, any kind of metal is thing. They had to think up new elements that weren't metal, and they kind of failed at it. Because the problem with platinum is that they weren't able to bend it, but also platinum is part of the earth. Like, that also comes from the ground.
Yeah.
They really dug themselves into a hole with that one, honestly. Like, they could have just left it at... Like, again, you end
It's
in
such a, like a
Airbender.
dumb kryptonite thing.
You
Like, we
end-
need a weakness.
You end an airbender with metal bending, and that's awesome. Like, you have this badass thing, and you get to just imagine the possibilities, right?
Yeah.
And then you see the possibilities, you're like, wow, this is kind of shitty.
Oh, so it's like the second Matrix movie.
Oh,
Just in
That
terms
was,
of like, oh, all these possibilities. No, his powers are exactly limited to the exact things you saw him do on screen. No more.
yeah.
They do not go beyond that.
What do metal benders do? They're kind of like shitty Spider-Man.
They
Like
can
they-
lift a heavy thing, but it's hard.
Yeah, they can swing, but you know they can run out of cable. Doesn't always end well.
I mean, you always got to have more Cable. Like, Cable's just got to be around. He's a great dude. He's from the future. He's got a metal arm. He's got a techno-organic virus that keeps him from using his psychic powers so he can shoot guns. He's great.
You know, it's the only way to do it.
Yeah.
He should,
He's friends
he
with
should have been-
Deadpool
He should have
because they
been
were
curving
created by the
bullets.
same artist and no other reason. Yeah. I mean,
Just
my thing with Korra, I enjoyed watching it. Except for
that's
the
the
part
thing,
where I
like, we-
hated it.
Just shit on it for an hour. I mean, it was good. I'd watch it again.
I liked
Probably.
it. It's not, Avatar is like one of my favorite shows.
Oh,
and of
yeah.
its type, it's probably is my favorite. Like my other favorites are things that aren't necessarily comparable.
Yeah.
Korra's just, it's good. And it's like drives me crazy sometimes because it's like it fucks up. But overall,
I think
besides that part of season 2 that I find completely insufferable,
yeah.
it's good.
There's
and I wish it were better.
Yep. Honestly, it's one of those things where like a few small changes would make it awesome.
Yeah.
Like it's not even necessarily anything that's huge either.
Yeah, you're not You're not wrong. Just more Varric.
More specifically, cutting out everything you have and just making Varric the star.
Exactly.
Like, that's probably, when rewatching it, that's probably what I'm just going to be waiting for. It's like going through Avatar again, and you're like, all right, I would like to get to Zuko and Iroh, please. Like, hit me with that Varric. I need more.
Yeah. But I think that's going to be a podcast.
Yep.
We did it.
We did the thing.
We did the thing. We talked about Korra.
Mostly bitched about Korra. But,
I mean, that was the reason we had to talk about Korra.
yeah, pretty much. To be fair, we did spend
Avatar was like, okay, it's worth having a podcast on, but it's just great. But I have bitching about Korra to do that needs to happen.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, it's
So
it's a thing. It's a disappointing thing.
you can email us at saltcirclepodcast@gmail.com. Find us at soundcloud.com/saltcircle. We're on Twitter at saltcirclepod. I'm on Twitter at comicpanels.
And I'm on Twitter at bean_LP. No, thank you.
Fuck Milo.
Fuck Milo. Fuck Milo hard.
Ew. No, don't. Please stop,
Come
man.
on.
No.
Get your mind out of the gutter. Jesus. You're the one who wanted him to die of heart disease.
I mean, yeah, that's fine. That's just tragic or whatever.
Or he can, like, he could die like he lived. He could fart himself to death. Just one giant fart joke into oblivion.
Big smile on his face.
Yep.